What if everything you call I is just a character you've played for so long that you forgot you were the actor? The silence that follows this question is not accidental. It is necessary. Because what comes next is not another one of those motivational speeches about finding your purpose, nor is it a step-by-step guide to becoming your best self. This is an invitation to question the very structure of what you call I. Have you ever noticed how all spiritual traditions speak of dying to oneself? Christians with their deny yourself, Sufis with their fana, the dissolution of the ego, Buddhists with anatta, the non-self. Even the Stoics preach detachment from identity. Coincidence? Or is there a pattern here that modern psychology is still crawling to understand? Contemporary psychology has discovered something unsettling. Our brain creates the illusion of a unified self, where there are only mental processes in constant flux. Studies with patients whose corpus callosum is severed, where the two brain hemispheres don't communicate, show that the mind invents coherent explanations for actions it doesn't understand, creating the illusion of an I in control. What does this mean for your pursuit of self-knowledge? That perhaps you're meticulously studying a mirage, convinced you're discovering an oasis. The ancient Egyptians had a fascinating ritual. During mummification, they removed all internal organs except the heart. Why? Because they believed it contained all memory, all character, all identity. But here's the irony. The brain, which we consider the seat of the self, was discarded as useless. What part of you have you treated as sacred when it should have been discarded? Modern neuroscience has revealed that our memories are reconstructions, not faithful recordings. Every time we recall something, we slightly alter the original memory. This means your personal story, the one you consider your essence, is actually a tapestry in constant flux. So I ask you, if your memories are fluid, if your traumas can be reinterpreted, if your personality changes with the environment, what exactly are you knowing when you practice self-knowledge? Here's the trap. The more you cling to a fixed idea of who you are, the further you move from the true nature of consciousness, which is fluid, contextual, and ultimately empty of any fixed essence. The ancient Greeks understood this better than we do. The Oracle of Delphi didn't say, know your thoughts, or analyze your traumas. It said, know thyself. And that phrase was written in the outer courtyard of the temple, not as the final destination, but as the starting point for true initiation. Because real self-knowledge is not an end, it's a beginning. It's the act of dismantling all certainties until only that moment before thought, before identity, before personal history remains. That space where you are no longer a name, nor a set of traits, nor a collection of memories, but simply presence. The Hindus call this Satchit Ananda and being consciousness bliss. Christian mystics spoke of the pure soul. Taoists refer to the void that contains all. And you? What do you call that place within you that exists before all words? Who are you when all the stories you've told about yourself unravel? The problem isn't that you don't know yourself. The problem is that you fervently believe in what you think you know. Your identity is not a discovery, it's a construction, a collection of mental habits, edited memories, and labels you've accepted as absolute truths. Think about the last time someone asked, who are you? What words came to mind? To your name, which was given to you, your profession, which you learned, your tastes shaped by experiences. Where in all of this is the essential you that precedes all these layers? Psychological studies on identity reveal something unsettling. Our self is incredibly malleable. The Proteus effect shows how our personal traits change depending on the roles we play. When we wear a white lab coat, we become more attentive. When we don a uniform of authority, we become more rigid. What does this say about the solidity of yourself? Sufi mystics have a powerful metaphor. The mind is like a theater, where thoughts are actors, emotions are the scenery, and you, the consciousness, are the audience that identifies so much with the play that you forget you are just watching. How many times today have you mistaken the actor for the spectator? Cognitive psychology has found that we have about 6,000 thoughts a day. Most are repetitions of old patterns. If you are not your thoughts because they come and go, and you are not your emotions because they change, then what remains? In 1977, psychologist Stanley Milgram conducted a revealing experiment. Participants were given opposing descriptions of their personality, some flattering, others critical. The result? Most accepted both as true, adjusting their self-concept based on the feedback received. This reveals an uncomfortable secret. You do not have a fixed personality. You have a repertoire of possibilities that changes with context. Here's the fatal mistake. You're seeking self-knowledge as if searching for buried treasure, when you should be letting go of anchors. Zen Buddhism has a concept called Mushin, mind without mind, and without. It's the state where you act without the interference of the ego, without the filter of I think, I like, I am. Great artists know this space, when the music plays through them, not from them. Why does this matter? Because every time you say I am this way, you're building an invisible prison. Close your eyes for a moment and ask, who is aware of this breath? Don't answer with words, just observe. What do you find behind the label I? That's where true self-knowledge begins. There is a Tibetan tale about a man fleeing from a demon who takes refuge in a cave. Inside he finds another man, or so he thinks, who offers him shelter. Days pass until the fugitive notices. His host casts no shadow on the wall. He's not a man. He's another demon, just more subtle. And now, already inside the cave, there's no way out. That's the nature of the ego you call I. It is not your declared enemy. It is the silent host you invited to live within you, believing it to be your protector. Until the day you realize it casts no shadow because it has no real substance. It merely takes up space. How many decisions did you make today thinking it was you, when it was really the whispers of this invisible tenant? The Vedic tradition speaks of ahamkara, the principle of individuation, the voice that whispers, this is mine, this is me, this is not me. A useful mechanism for navigating the world, but fatal when mistaken for who you truly are. Like a GPS that goes from guide to car owner. And here is the paradox no one tells you. The more you try to free yourself from the ego, the more you strengthen it. Because the one seeking freedom is still the ego, dressed in spiritual garments. Benjamin Libet. Experiments in the 1980s revealed something unsettling. Your brain makes decisions up to half a second before you reconscious of them. What you call a choice is actually a delayed recognition. So I ask you, if even your decisions aren't truly yours, what's left of this you that believes it's in control? It's not about losing free will. It asks about understanding that the true I isn't at the level where choices are made, but in the silent space that witnesses even the process of choosing. Medieval alchemists worked with a principle called solve et coagula, dissolve and coagulate. First, everything had to be reduced to its purest state, the prima materia. Only then could true transformation occur. Your process of self-knowledge needs this same radical movement. It's no use trying to build a better version of yourself on rotten foundations. You must first dissolve all certainties. But how do you do this without falling into another mental trap? There is a simple yet profound technique used by Zen masters. Instead of asking, who am I? They reverse the question, to whom is this arising? Every time a thought, emotion, or sensation appears, instead of identifying with it, you ask, who is the observer of this? This simple shift creates a space between you and the mental whirlwind. A space where, for the first time, you can see the storm without being swept away by it. The ancient Egyptians believed that after death, the god Anubis would weigh the deceased's heart against the feather of Mahat, the goddess of truth. If the heart was heavy, full of lies, masks, and false identities, it would be devoured by Amit, the devourer of the dead. How many of us are being devoured alive by the weight of identities that aren't ours? There's a powerful exercise from wisdom traditions. Imagine waking up tomorrow with no memory of your past, no name, no history, no labels. What would remain? What would be essential? This emptiness is not something to fear. It's the fertile ground where true growth happens, because you are not what you think you are. You are the space where all those thoughts come and go. And when this becomes clear, the entire pursuit of self-knowledge transforms. It's no longer about adding more concepts, but about subtracting everything that's false. It's not about becoming something, but about ceasing to be everything you never were. There's a moment in all great wisdom traditions that isn't taught, but revealed. An instant when the seeker realizes that everything they learned was just a finger pointing at the moon, and now finally they're looking at the sky. This moment doesn't come with fanfare or dramatic enlightenments. It arrives as a sigh, as a silent ah that emerges when all questions exhaust themselves. Have you ever caught yourself waiting for an epiphany? That grand revelation that would finally make all the pieces fit? The truth is simpler and stranger. What you seek isn't an answer, but the end of the question. Not new knowledge, but the emptying of everything you thought you knew. Christian mystics spoke of the dark night of the soul. Sufis described fana, dissolution into the divine. Taoists wrote about returning to the source, all pointing to the same paradox. You must lose yourself completely to truly find yourself. But finding here doesn't mean acquiring something new. It means recognizing what was always there, hidden in plain sight. There's an intriguing philosophical thought experiment. Imagine all your thoughts, memories, and sensations were erased. What would remain? At first, it seems like nothing would. But wait, there would still be consciousness. A consciousness without content, without history, without identity, but still present. That's the central mystery. You are not the content of your mind. You are the space where that content appears. How many times today have you mistaken the movie for the screen? The ancient Indian rishis made a crucial distinction between the knower and the known. Everything that can be observed, thoughts, emotions, sensations, belongs to the realm of the known. But the knower itself? That can never become an object of knowledge. You can never see yourself seeing, only know that you are seeing. And here's the kicker. Your entire pursuit of self-knowledge has been an attempt to turn the knower into the known, to make the subject an object. It's like the eyes trying to see themselves without a mirror, impossible by definition. Zen stories are full of masters who, when asked about their true nature, simply remained silent, not for lack of an answer, but because the only true answer lies beyond words. There is a koan, a meditative puzzle, that asks, what was your face before your parents were born? It's not a question to be answered with the thinking mind. It's a trigger for a leap beyond thought. Can you feel the space between your thoughts now? That brief moment before the next thought arises, that's the portal. Meditation isn't a tea about emptying the mind. It is about discovering who is observing the mind, whether full or empty. And when this becomes clear, all spirituality simplifies. It's no longer about achieving extraordinary states, but about recognizing the extraordinary in the ordinary. About seeing that this moment, exactly as it is already complete, already perfect, already the fullest expression of the mystery of existence. You don't need to become enlightened. You just need to realize you were never in the dark. The great misconceptions of self-knowledge arise when we confuse the map with the territory, when we take descriptions for the thing itself, when we seek in words what can only be found in the silence between them. There's a story about a disciple who asked his master, "How can I find God?" The master replied, "Have you ever lost him?" That's the cosmic joke. You're seeking what was never lost, trying to reach what is already yours, struggling to become what you already are. The final invitation isn't to more seeking, but to a deep rest in what you are before any thought, before any identity, before any story. And when that happens, all of life transforms. Not because you changed, but because you finally realized you never needed to change to begin with. True self-knowledge doesn't end with an answer. It ends when all questions dissolve into the silence that was always there, waiting to be noticed. Now breathe, and let go of everything you thought you knew about yourself. What remains is what always was,